First time on camera, man.
For someone who has over like 50,000, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube,
There
you
you
feel
go.
pretty nervous in front of camera.
I'm just grouchy because
It's too early for you?
you got me out here in the middle of nowhere.
You're the one who set up the location.
I'm half awake. He did bring me some
man.
coffee though, so a little cars and coffee video today. What do you want to talk about? What's the first one?
You're so nervous.
Am I?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm here with the great Miguel DSM. It's weird though because you have a Honda behind you.
Yeah.
So are you coming over to the dark side? Or the good side, I should say.
Not quite. My thoughts just.
I have that effect.
Okay, so
No, but the Integra. Why the Integra?
I've always wanted a DC2.
Really?
Yeah, I've always growing up especially, and I've always just heard, about Hondas being stolen left and right.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to buy an Integra before I got this one, the DC2, and just based off me looking up some videos, asking some people, it's like, yeah, they get stolen a lot.
Disregard the sound in the back.
Oh yeah, we're just
He chose a street that it's always empty, and there's been 2 cars in less than 10 minutes. Next time, I'm picking the location.
It's the first video. Okay. Anyways, I was gonna buy a DC2, and it was just the fact that they get stolen too much that I just kind of wanted to choose something a little more modern. This one's a little bit harder to steal, and I wanted a Honda. I wanted something a little more reliable, something fun. I've always heard great things about them. I always heard great things about the K series as well. And I don't know. I got to get one and build it and drive it every day and take it to the track, and it's actually really, really fun.
Yeah, it makes it simple because they're very reliable cars, and they're like that mid section where they're not super old school, but they're not modern anymore. That nice little area where there's not everything computerized, but they're still reliable.
It's a little more mechanical. I love the 6-speed on it. It shifts like butter. It's probably like my favorite car as far as how it shifts.
Really?
They're very smooth. Yeah, I really like how it is. I like the gears.
How bad is the DSM? Was it?
The DSM and Evo ones are a little bit shorter, so that one's just like you get into it, hits boost, you go through the RPM range real quick, and you just shifting. So the Evos, that's why the Evos.
I don't like that. When I had a 2018 Subaru STI, the first gear was completely useless.
Yeah.
Legit. First gear, okay, I need to shift, and then I guess maybe for the track.
Yeah.
Right, or like spirit driving, but like for everyday driving, it's more like, man, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, okay, well, here it is.
Yeah, it's more of a hassle, and then you also have the all-wheel drive system versus the front-wheel drive. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you?
I feel like so I'm not the most skilled driver, right? But I feel like the Subaru was very heavy, even on the sport mode. It has 3 modes.
Yeah.
It was definitely faster than for my skills, but I just felt like I did feel the car being heavy. And that bothered me, but obviously that comes with the all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But on the turn, since I'm not as experienced, it helped. It was so much easier. The car never kicked out.
Yeah.
It assisted me a lot. I think that's kind of. I remember when I was doing a lot of research on Evos, Evo 10s. I really, to this day, I still want an Evo 10.
Okay.
I would see a lot of reviews, and a lot of the people that were hosting the video, whatever, they would say, this car is for cheaters. By that means people that are not as skilled, that look good in this because the car is so forgiving. Like, it's so good at driving. It's so the steering is perfect. And so I was like, maybe that's me. And that's how I felt about the Subaru. Okay. I feel like I wasn't as good, but yet I can still keep up per se because of the all-wheel drive system.
But do you think the all-wheel drive system is a cheating mechanism for drivers? Like, I feel like a lot of, for example, rally drivers, they're skilled and they have all-wheel drive.
Oh, no. By no means am I saying like that's the cheat. No. I think there's a different style of driving. I think it depends on what you're trying to do, right? Yeah. Like for me, I haven't been to the track myself, so maybe that's something that I need to experience. Okay. But when I see my buddies with the front-wheel drive, they're driving the heck out of those cars. Yeah. I don't see them kind of like saying, "Oh, I wish I had a wheel drive." No, they love what they're doing with the front wheel drive, and then the people in the rear wheel drive, they're always talking about like the back end kicking out, and so like their way of thinking is so different. Yeah. But then when somebody gets like a all wheel drive, let's say Honda, they turn it into all wheel drive. Like I love what they do with that. Like I don't have I'm not like it must be this way or nothing. I've never been like that. You're open-minded to it. Yeah. All the time. That's why I'm like I'm not a purist at heart. If somebody keeps a car like 100% stock, I'm cool with it. But if you're like, hey, I'm gonna put this, I don't know, V8 from a Ford in a Miata,
okay,
I'm cool with that as well.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. I'm always open to seeing different builds, seeing what people are doing with their cars, and I'm not really. I mean, obviously, there's certain modifications that I think most car people like shy away from, especially like the Ricer mods, for example. Like, do you consider certain mods like a little bit too much?
Have you seen
like...
my wing? Okay, so that's the thing, my wing, right? Like, if you don't know, like I told you last time, if you don't know,
yeah,
I'll be the first one to admit it looks tacky. It looks like, what? Why would you do that?
I mean, I personally didn't think that when I saw it. I thought it looked different. I thought it was probably like a special Accord. I think it is, right? You told me, right? It's like a very rare spec.
It's like Japanese touring car championship.
So there's something cool about the wing.
But that's because somebody knows about it. But if not, like I said, I'll be the first one to admit it. It looks tacky. It's like, what? So like, for instance, like the Ricer mods, like I've been there. Like when I first got my coupe, like it was on 18-inch chrome wheels. It was on stock suspension. Okay. Tow hook in the back. Some eBay visors. But I was working at a fast food, man, and I was like, oh, I could afford it, and I was super happy with those mods.
What was your first car?
My first car is my coupe, my 95 Honda Accord.
Oh, okay.
That I still have.
Okay, cool. Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So I've had it for going on to 14 years now in May.
Damn. And how do you feel about that car over the years? Like, how do you don't really drive it anymore? Or?
I do. Right now, it just needs tires for the wheels that it has, but I love it. But I think it's crazy because like back then I didn't really need the space, so like a coupe was perfect, right? I was single, and then I met my girlfriend and whatever. But now with a family, growing family, it's like now I feel like that car is just there because of sentimental value, which I don't ever want to let it go. But it also takes space for like, I really want a wagon. That's like my next venture. Like this car right here, it's a sedan and it's leaking, clutch fluid. I'm already like, man, do I really want to put more money into this car? Or should I just go buy a wagon now? Because I'm thinking more of a family standard. But my coupe is always going to be there just because there's no way I'm going to get rid of it. Emotional, sentimental, and the money that I spent on it.
So you would never sell it then?
Oh, no. So the directions to my wife are, if something happens to me and certain people don't want the car, then you go to the junkyard and you ask them, can I pay extra to get it crushed?
Crushed?
Yep.
Wow. Why crushed?
I don't want anybody else, nothing to do with my car.
Damn. You wouldn't even want to pass it down?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If certain people say, no, I don't want the car, it's too much responsibility, I don't have the space, then you take it to the junkyard and you say, how much? I want to see it getting crushed. If it's $1,000, $2,000, whatever, I want to see it get crushed into a little square.
So as car guys, do you think it's bad for us to have that sentimental attachment to something that's not really real? It's just metal?
It's horrible.
It's
horrible, dude.
You think so? Why?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. I've spent over, I'm not even going to say because I'm going to feel bad, but I mean, I guess that's what you do with money, right? It's a tool. You spend it to make your life, get satisfaction or fulfill time or whatever, right? But the amount of money that I spent on my salvage 95 Accord, it's insane. Yeah. So, yeah, it's bad. How do you see that?
Like, I see it on the perspective where it's like, obviously the money, I think as car people, we're so passionate about the hobby that we don't really care how much we spent. And I think it's been proven because you have the guys with, even the exotics spending hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, like on crazy builds, and they don't seem to care. I think it's more about the perspective of like we're attached to something that's not really human. It's just a piece of metal. It's just, but yeah, we have this certain type of connection with a car when we drive it, when we see it, when we build it. It's like it's a friend, right? But it's not really a person. Does that make sense? So we're attached to something that's materialistic and that we're not really going to leave with, I guess. But it's how do you say it? Like, how, I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear. Like, it's basically it's not.
Well, yeah, let's be honest. It's pieces of metal.
Yeah, it's just plastic, metal, and rubber and glass and everything.
Well, I think it goes with like for instance, there's some people that they build cars and they get rid of them. They part them out.
Yeah, how do they do that? I feel like I would have some sort of attachment to the car.
Well, yeah, since the guy that has 5 cars, you're right. Yeah,
this is how I felt. So the DC5, I just wanted to get it, build it real quick, and then eventually sell it off, right? But now after driving it these last 5 months, I'm just like, you know what? Like, it's actually a really fun daily to drive. Really fun really fun car to drive every day. Yeah. And I don't want to get rid of it anymore. I was like, no, what do I want to do next? Like the cage, the Brembos, And I'm starting to think. I'm
no,
like, all right,
man,
yeah. And
yeah.
you go down the loophole,
right?
And
but I think for me, it's more like it's difficult to let go sometimes. But I think in life in general, like, you know, I do believe that the only constant thing in life is change. So nothing will ever stay the same. And so, like, anything that you're going through, it shall pass as well. So the hobby of cars, one day you may lose it, and that's okay, right? Some people are just so quick to just kind of move on to the next project and next project. And for me, I think it's more like, let me enjoy what I have. Let me slow down. And let me actually enjoy what I have. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm right. But
I'm on the same boat.
That's at least me. I think, you know, kind of tying up with one of the things for me, I really enjoy smaller YouTube channels because you see the grind, you see the funds are not as much as there. So, like, for instance, like you getting, you know, a lip for your, you know, DC5 or whatever, and you're putting it because at the moment that's all you can afford, right?
Yeah.
When you get to a bigger channel, today on Wednesday I bought a Ferrari. By Friday, the first Ferrari that is bagged and boosted, and then the next Monday's like, oh, the first Supra in the world, and then by Wednesday the Supra gets a wide body, and it to me at least, I think that it just throws me like I can't relate to that. I don't like that. Maybe because I'm more of a nostalgic, take your time, slow down type of personality. I could be wrong.
I'm on the same boat, and I always preach against, you know, comparing yourself to, you know, to others, because it's when you do that, when you're comparing yourself to like the big YouTuber that's buying the newest car and then a wide body the next week, it's just, I think everyone has different journeys, everyone has different times, and just because they're having their moment right now doesn't mean you're not going to have yours, right? So you have to be able to delay the gratification and be able to wait for your turn whenever that time comes. But at the time, it's just, you know, that guy, and you should have no sense of envy or anything against him, because at the end of the day, he probably worked for it just as hard as you are. So
but the funny thing is that, like, even on that note, I want the channel to have 1 million subscribers. That's not something that I've keep quiet or a secret. But even as 1 million subscribers, like, I'm gonna make the best. My intentions, I'm gonna put my effort into making sure that I don't turn into that, where like one day I buy this, the other day, because that's just not my personality. I think that also comes with it. Like, me personally, I guess, you know, I don't believe in spending every dime you have in cars. That's just me.
You're more simplistic, basically.
I try to be. And so even if the funds are there, maybe I'll backtrack. Maybe I'll buy a whole bunch of freaking old rusty, you know, Hondas or Datsuns or things like that are like affordable, $7,000, $10,000 range. But for me to go buy a Lamborghini one day, the next day an F-250, the next day whatever, you know, it's like you're just buying. And I know it's a business model. But to me, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll get there, and I turn the opposite, and you're like, hey, remember when?
Like, I can see you buying like the cleanest NSX and then going out to like a Cars and Coffee and like. This
fool doesn't watch my videos because he doesn't know that I don't like NSXs.
What?
No, I like them, but I wouldn't buy an NSX.
What? Why not? Really? Have you driven one before?
No.
You have to.
I've sat in them. I get it. They're great looking cars. But if I was to get an NSX, pod case swap it. Okay,
I'm not even against that. I'm actually you're gonna turbo it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're talking. Nah, this is what this is about.
But see, that's like the most exotic, I guess, Porsche, right?
It's funny because I used to hate Porsches.
Yeah, either you love them or you hate them. Me too.
And it's like an acquired taste, but it's like, I feel like to an extent though, they kind of become a little bit overhyped, and now everyone on social media like is always posting the GT2 RS or GT3 RS. And have you seen that?
That would be the only thing I would go and splurge, a Porsche GT3. But like for me to then go buy the Cayman GT2, nah, I don't know. But maybe again, the funds are not there, so.
I'm more of like the classic Porsche 911s, like the G bodies, air cooled. I mean, I would see like if I was to have like the optimal like best Porsche build, it would be like a 75 with a 4G63 inside with like an RWB wide body kit and like
RWB. That I would splurge on,
dude. Like, there's something about those Porsches specifically when you're just like, wow, like it feels like out of this world, and that's probably one of the
super different.
Yeah. That's one car that I would really like to build down the road, but it's like you said, like it's the funds, and we just have to wait. We have to work for it, and then eventually, I'm sure it'll come.
How do you do with patience?
I think it comes down to being grateful for what you have initially and just work with what you got.
Facts.
And over time, it has been proven. I've proven it to myself that with hard work and just in time and delayed gratifications, good things do come. Whether that comes through, I don't know, in many different ways. But it's just I've just gotten used to delay the gratification with everything, with the gym, for example, with relationships, with money, with everything. And I feel like that's the best way you can do it because I don't know. I just lost my.
That's cool. Delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification.
So that's it. That's where I stand, right? That's why. Yeah, I mean, I guess I backtrack. I would buy the RWB and the Porsche if the funds are there. But even then, like the funds really have to be there. There's a few people. There's a few mentors. Like my buddy Juan. He's a huge mentor of mine, and he's always, like, hey, like, do this step before this step, and then that's how it naturally works.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't think I would ever like stretch myself so thin that just to say I have an RWB, right? That's just not my personality.
Okay.
But at the same time, when it comes to like the patience, I'm learning. I'm reminding myself to be aggressively patient, to understand that things will come at a certain time for a certain reason.
Right.
And just be grateful the fact that people are tuning in, people are helping out, because they are. Just because you're
going along your journey, basically.
Yeah. So I think that to me it's like one of the biggest things that I've been telling myself for the past 5 years now, and I'm super grateful for the people that tune in. And just when people say, "Hey, man, I really like your channel," it's crazy. Especially when I've had like 3 or 4 times where they hear me laughing and they're like, it's so weird to hear in person. Like, yeah, we have you in the background all the time. Like, oh man, I appreciate that.
Also, they hear it all the time, and they just kind of.
Yeah, I love that, man. So for like 2024, like for Miguel, what is the projects that you're kind of thinking about, or what is something that you're gonna push yourself to kind of accomplish this next year?
As far as content, or what specific?
For YouTube, sorry, yeah.
For YouTube, so basically, when it comes to YouTube, the way I've always done it, I just document my builds and my automotive lifestyle. So, for example, if I go to Cars and Coffee, I try to film it. Or if I'm doing a front lip install on the DC5, then I film it, right? So I think my priority right now is to finish the Evo build. It's been down for like a really, really long time. And it took me a long time just to be able to save up for all the parts. So like you said, like it's delayed gratification. It's been a shell for so long already. And
what's so long already? 2-3 years?
No. So that's where it's subjective as far as how long it could be, but it's only been around like, I want to say like a year. Since it's been down.
Some dudes out there with their Corsico Jacksons for 2 years.
I know. I'm probably gonna get a comment. I'm gonna get a comment.
Bro,
for sure.
A year, man.
So for my Eclipse build, it was sitting for like 2 years as well. It was, and that was when I was like 21, 22, when I was doing the Evo swap on the Eclipse. And I remember I was just, that car sat for so long, and we were trying to do the Evo swap on it, the all-wheel drive conversion, and it was just, it was fun, but at the same time, it was I think that's where I learned the whole delayed gratification part, because I didn't know if it was gonna run because it hadn't really been done before, like the swap on the Eclipse, the Evo swap. And me and my buddies were basically trying to figure it out with what we could. And then like over time, as the build progressed, and eventually as it got done and it got tuned and I was finally driving, I kind of realized like how every little building block that I put down with that car over time, especially as it sat, it eventually led me to where it's at now, right? So. And then I documented the whole story on YouTube, right? So I think that's the people that got to see that and experience that with me. I think they also felt like that same sense of achievement, because they basically saw the car get built, and I think that's one thing about being, the whole YouTuber is people watch your cars, they watch how you build them, and they build a relationship with you, and they understand what you put in the car. They know what's been done to it. They know what the hassle it's been through, and they kind of, I think that's why you have people that really do like the YouTuber cars, because I don't know, they understand them a little bit more. I think I went off topic there, but
a little bit.
Yeah, but it was a good point though. It was a good
allegedly. Man, he goes off topic. I can only imagine
you're
him
gonna
building
be editing
his
later. Once you're editing later, let me know.
We're like, what was he talking about?
Ya me está despertando.
It doesn't seem like it, bro. Go back to sleep. Gotcha. It's funny you say that, because it got me thinking, as you were saying about people liking, cars that are being built by people that are YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the term YouTuber, for me at least.
Yeah, I don't either.
Liar. You just see yourself as YouTuber Miguel. No, just kidding. I don't like the term YouTuber because I don't, nothing wrong with that. It is a career. It definitely is a career, but I don't label myself that.
So I think the best way you could describe the whole YouTube thing is like digital marketing. So at the end of the day, you're building a personal brand.
Right.
And when people ask me like kind of what I do, I am in the digital marketing space. So either I could create content for other companies, or I could, I'm building my personal brand when it comes to YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and I'm building my cars, and it's just, you're able to build sponsorships, brand deals. It's just, there's just so many ways to monetize as a content creator and as a digital marketer. That's kind of how I explain the whole field. I think it's unorthodox. It's still kind of new, I think, especially as a career, like you said. But it's I think that's the best way you can tell someone.
It comes to my next point.
Yeah.
Tied it perfectly. It's 2024.
Yeah.
Miguel, I've always watched your videos. I've thought about doing it myself. Is it too late for me?
No, I think we're just starting. I think the whole creator economy as a whole is going to like exponentially blow up. I truly believe that.
But there's so many of them.
Yeah.
How can I stand out?
It's competitive. At the end of the day, it's just going to come down to it's consistent. I think consistency is going to be the biggest one, because I think that's where most people fall off. It's usually the guys that are just posting for years on end until they eventually hit. I mean, how long have you been doing YouTube for?
Like 5 years.
Same here. So, and I'm not where I want to be, and I'm sure you're not either, but at the end of the day, we're not at ground zero anymore. We're already at another level where maybe people look up to us and they're just like, wow, I wish I was there, but they didn't see the 5 years that we just did previously, right? All the hard and long days where it was just, I don't know, it's just, how do you explain that?
Well, I can explain it like for a while. Obviously, funds again. I'm very frugal, so like the funds were not 100% there.
Yeah.
I would go to Starbucks parking lot and upload my videos there, and so at 11 at night, it will take about an hour and a half because the signal wasn't as strong.
Yeah.
And I would do that with my laptop. So for a lot of the interviews, in my watching talks where I watch my car and I just kind of share my stories, one of them. I started with my phone, and so I would have to erase personal information in order for the phone to continue to have more space.
Yeah.
And so there is that level of patience. There's a level of like getting better. So if Miguel was to, I hope not, definitely hope not. But if Miguel was to start ground zero, 0 subscribers, what do you do? Just so you can. Because it's easy to say, oh yeah, it's not late, keep doing it. But there's always going to be that person who's going to be like, well, it's easy for you to say. Show me like a somewhat blueprint of what you would do if you were to start again 2024.
So think of your top 3 favorite automotive YouTubers. Go watch their videos for a week or 2. See how they're doing things. And then I would go grab myself a camera. How, as far as funds, how are we like, can I just go buy like a...
Before you're working on fast food.
Okay.
You have a family.
Canon G7X Mark II. I think that's the perfect vlogger.
See, this reminds me of like, I'm gonna cut you off because I'm gonna be like, no, don't get a camera. Start with your phone.
Okay, that's a good point too.
Because like on the I always crack up because there's always like little shorts that come up, how to become a millionaire, and they'll be like, sell one thing that is worth $1 million, and then boom. That's how you sound right now. No. I would say start with your phone. And then proceed, but yeah. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So if you don't have, I think the camera is like $300 used on Marketplace or OfferUp. Go look it up. If you can't, just use your phone. Just record horizontally, and then just start recording. You go into any type of car event. You doing anything car related with your friends. You doing anything to your car, and just film it. It's gonna feel weird. I think it's gonna feel like it's not gonna come out that good, but then I would just film everything I can, start editing. As far as like editing, we have a computer and everything, or how would that work?
Well, you can edit from your phone.
You can edit from your phone, yeah.
I think what I'm getting at is like there's really no excuse for you not to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Except yourself.
Definitely.
But obviously when you see someone like Miguel who has a big following on both Instagram and other social platforms, it's like, damn, Miguel, like, it's easier for you.
No, it's not. I mean, the beginning of this podcast, I was nervous. You told me I was nervous, and the thing.
Well, I didn't have to tell you. The whole people saw you were nervous.
But the thing is, it's funny because till this day, every time I'm about to film a video, I feel like that Miguel that was just about to film this. I feel super nervous.
Really?
And then once I start filming, then I get into the flow of it, and I'm just like, all right, I kind of got it down, and I'm just like, all right, and now I feel comfortable with it. It always varies too, but.
So you're still kind of going through those.
Oh yeah, till this day,
challenges.
I still go through the initial challenges of being nervous about what people are gonna say if they see me with a camera, or how I'm gonna look, or if the angle's right, or if I'm gonna get the best footage possible, or if my video's gonna be too boring, or if my video's gonna be too short. Like you can't overthink that, and you just got to do it. But it's just like, yeah, they never went away. The fears did.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if they ever do. I would like to ask like the bigger YouTubers, see how they feel about it when they're about to film a video, because like, I don't know, there's always like that tension, or like that weird feeling of like recording yourself, and it's just like,
it is weird. I mean, obviously for someone like myself who I'm a very individual. I like to be by myself. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
At first it was very intimidating to walk around the Cars and Coffee and just kind of be mumbling to myself.
I still do that till this day, don't worry.
but now to me it's natural. Like if somebody stops by and says hi, we'll chat, but to me it's just more like I'm doing it for me. I really enjoyed it might sound weird, but I legitimately look back to my videos from like 5 years ago at a Cars and Coffee for different reasons. I think about like the conversations that I was having, because I'm having a conversation with myself knowing that other people are listening. It's almost like right now.
Yeah.
5 years from now, I will look back at this podcast and be like, damn, like your dream of getting an RWB, here's our RWB here part. Yeah. Right? Because it does happen. That happens. And so for me, I'm getting over the fact of what people are going to say with my GoPro or not. I think that comes with a confidence level. So I guess to somebody out there who's willing to say, I want to start this, do it. Like, I don't know, man. If you're scared of somebody saying something about you, then you're never going to grow. I think that's where you grow as an individual, not even as a content creator, just as an individual. If you're afraid to step out of something that is not in your comfort zone, man, I think in life in general, you're not going to be able to get better at anything that you try to do.
You limit yourself.
Because there's always going to be somebody like, there was a little audio that I heard that it's like, hey, somebody says I uploaded my first, video to YouTube, and people laugh, except the people that are already in YouTube. They understand that, like,
that's actually
that's the hardest.
I would have like a little proud moment, like, hey, you actually did the first upload, because I think that's like probably the hardest.
That is the hardest.
Yeah, I'd be like, damn, he did it. But yeah, for most people, it was funny because when I back in Instagram, I posted like a story that I was gonna post my first vlog, and I had like a high school friend at the time, and he was like, why are you doing it? It's not even worth it, right? And obviously, it's very just motivating.
Take his name right now. No, just kidding.
Nah, he's still a really good friend of mine, but it's just
Mark.
Like,
you know what he does? No, just kidding.
It's not Mark.
Imagine it is Mark.
But at the time, it was very dismotivating.
Yeah.
Because back then,
Tawitas,
yes. It's but looking back now, I think it actually gave me a little bit of feel just to be able to prove him wrong. And nowadays you can't really say much. At the end of the day, I did what I was gonna do, and I'm still doing it till this day. So.
Right. I mean, to me, I know that criticism's gonna come even. There's a quote that I like that it says, "Hurt me once, I'll forgive you. Hurt me twice, you're dead to me.
Yeah.
Hurt me 3 times, you're family." It's most of the negative things or the hurtful comments come from family, right? Because they feel like I'm protecting you, so I'm gonna tell you like, hey, this is a waste of time, or hey, this is, and that goes again for any venture. That could be for a relationship, that can be for a business, that could be for YouTube as we're discussing it. And so those are the people that care about you the most, but can also hurt you the most. Yeah. Because you really admire or take into consideration their suggestions or their criticism. And so that should not never have you stop you from continuing on doing that. So the Miguel of 2024 is just going to be continue focusing on his builds. Anything, I mean, the Evo, I guess, right? Are you doing anything different with the Evo that you're going to be documenting?
Yeah, so we painted the bay. We're going forward facing with a Precision 5858, and then we're just basically going for like over 500 horsepower just to make it faster, and then the hood dump. Shoot flames out the hood, something crazy.
All the fun stuff?
All the fun stuff. So, I don't know. It's just when it comes to Evos, you could just do a lot with them. So, I'm excited.
Interesting. How, does that make you nervous? You're in California.
Sure. Yeah, it can. But I don't...
Is it a pride thing that you're like, I don't care, I'm still going to express myself through my car?
I think we all have that inside. It's like at the end of the day, we build our cars first. I think, well, for the most part, for ourselves and not for anybody else. And I think it's just because I'm in California, it doesn't stop me from wanting to express what I like as far as like my style in cars or how I modify them. Obviously, we have restrictions in California, but at the end of the day, it's my hobby, it's my passion, it's what I like to do, and I'm not hurting anybody in the process. So why is it that bad, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. It's an expression of yourself for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming based on the fact that you're going to be, you know, allocating funds into this build.
Yeah.
There's no other new cars coming in the horizon for you.
For 2024, I don't know. You just never know. I want to say no. I really want to focus on what I have now, and I really want to like tidy up the builds. But then again, I also do believe that, you know, a lot can change in a year. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you can manifest a lot of things in your life. And I think that goes for anyone watching. I think as long as you're working, you're consistent, you know, eventually something's going to happen, and something good could happen. You never know. Like, for example, your channel could blow up, and the next thing you know, you have your case-swapped NSX.
Put it right here.
Put it right here. And then we'll come back. So, as far as right now, no. But then again, I'm open. I'm open to getting more builds if I can, you know? Why not?
Yeah, I'm huge on manifestation. When did you kind of discover that, or when did you actually start looking to that? Or it's always been a thing for you? It's always been like, be positive, put it out to the universe, work hard, and it happens.
I think subconsciously growing up, I kind of always knew it, and then I really didn't become aware of it until I was like 25 a couple years ago. And it was weird because like I kind of really got into like the whole space, and that's kind of when I got big into self-improvement. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing everything that I did as far as like the stuff like with purpose. Like everything was more direct. I had a lot more clarity as far as what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, and I expressed that through like my cars and my content. Mm-hmm. And everything. So I don't know. It's a weird topic, but it's always something that I'm always thinking about.
It's funny you say that, you know, because my wife was the one that got me into the vision boards. Yeah. But I've always noticed, just in my personal life throughout, I think for sure right after high school, that things that I said came to fruition. Yeah. And so
good and bad.
Correct. Yeah. And therefore I needed to make sure that I was aware of my thoughts. I was aware of what I was working for, and obviously keep them positive.
Positive attitude. Yeah.
And to this day, I'm 32, man, and it keeps happening, and it's good, right? It obviously comes with a lot of work, not just by sitting. Yeah. I'm open to receiving an NSX with a K-swap. Right now, I'm saying, I wouldn't go buy one, but if the funds are there, why not? Yeah. Right. So it comes with that. But at the same time, it's constant reminder of like, hey, just make sure that every day you're either getting better or getting worse. It's up to you, right? And so how you go about just handling life in general, I think that's going to be the biggest thing moving forward. And so that's why I always like to hear like what your thoughts are on I guess your channel, because you know, if Miguel goes viral tomorrow, which I really legitimate hope you do, right? I really do. Even if that means that you no longer respond to my DMs, it would suck, but it happens, and it's okay. What do you think would be the biggest change for your channel? Just higher end builds, or would you still be rocking this DC5?
It's a good question. I haven't really thought about that.
Porsche, bye DC5. Let me just have it before you go viral.
I think I would make sure that like if I was to go viral and I had the funds just to be able to do, I think I would allocate some of the funds.
When you go viral?
When I go viral, exactly. You have to believe it. Just make sure that my family is good as far as like financials. I think that's probably like my main priority, and then whatever was left, and if I was to kind of just pursue the whole YouTube stuff with the builds and using the funds not to fund it, I think I would make all my current builds like just that much more legit, like paint jobs and better parts, and just upgrade everything brand new, and then get the R2BB and then start.
Gotcha. Do you see yourself traveling the world for automotive stuff like that? Now that becomes your life.
Sure. That would be awesome. Like if I was able to involve myself just truly like full time just to car stuff every day, all day, every day, I'd be happy. I think as a human, I would be happy if I was able to just to do that and survive off of that, right? And thrive off of that. I think that's the best thing you can do. Is just do what you love, and then if you're able to thrive and bring more into your life just because you're doing what you love, then I think that's a good thing. Yeah. So
I see some people on the automotive world that I legitimate like the way they carry themselves. Like one of them is Scotto from the Hoonigans. he actually responds to my DMs on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, they're short, but the fact that he has such a big following and he responds, I'm like, damn, man, like, that's cool. Because other personalities from the Hoonigans who are no longer there, not once have they responded, you know? And that's because, again, it goes back to, sorry, I put a timer. That was quick, 35 minutes. I lied to you. It wasn't 30, it was 35. But that's because, I guess, you know, it comes with their personality. So to me, I like that. I like the fact that you're willing to say, I'm willing to do this full time, and I would be happy.
I would be happy when it comes to, like, when you were saying about the other guys like responding to DMs. I also get their perspective though, because they probably do get a lot. Like, I feel like when it comes to people sending me DMs personally, I try to respond as many as I can, and sometimes I just don't respond to some, and I just kind of forget about it, and then they just go down the list, and but it's nothing against the person. I think it's just, I don't know. Everyone
completely understand.
Like, if they were to reply to every single message, they would probably be on their phone all day.
And I completely understand that. And so that's the reason why, like, someone like Scotto has that greater respect for me, from me, right? Not like he cares or needs it, but the fact that, like, he's a multimillionaire, and daily drives like a old school Volks VW little Jetta Rabbit.
So he's like your ideal, like, character or person you kind of look up to.
Lives in a very modest home. Chill.
Got it.
You know, like the Magnus Walker, I like them. You know, maybe he has a lot more cars than I would ever buy.
Yeah.
But I like that, like, just down to earth. You see him on a Cars and Coffee, and he's like, hey, like, I love that. Like, that would be, you know, I'm putting it out there, like, if the channel has 10 million subscribers or 5, I'm just gonna show up to the Cars and Coffee. Hi, I don't need pictures now, just hi, I'm a normal ass dude. I just hold the GoPro.
That's actually a really cool goal.
No, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. So when it happens,
there you go.
That's like at least my podcast. Full transparency, we did mine first because he said it's gonna be so bad.
It was actually really good. We had a good conversation.
Now I'm gonna go all dry on his.
I know, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, we're gonna be dry on mine.
I'm like, hey, the caffeine kicked in already. It's gonna come.
Shit, bro. I know the coffee's already going there.
All right, man. So I hope you guys appreciate this and you guys enjoy this. I'm not even gonna ask you guys if you guys want us to do more, because honestly, I enjoy it. Yeah. I think we're thinking about doing more, but the timing, because you're a busy, you know, individual, and obviously I'm busy with other stuff. It makes it difficult, but I think, you know, we can definitely continue to try, you know, strive for these ones. But now we're gonna do another one, completely different conversations over Miguel DSM's. I'll put his information in the link, and so that way you guys can go check that out, and maybe we'll switch chairs so it looks different.
A little different, right?
Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate the time, man.
Gotcha, man.
Oh, by the way, if anybody was wondering about the setup, so to people out there who say, "Oh, I don't have the funds," look at this. Yes, we're doing it. Don't put limitations.